Right off the bat, I need to say that this video is not necessarily tied directly to music licensing. So if you're not interested in this topic, it doesn't relate to you, just don't watch this video. But the reason why I am making this video, as you can see from the title, is creative people, musicians, we deal with depression and panic attacks and anxiety probably more so than most people. I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that creative people are highly intelligent, they're very perceptive, they're also very sensitive to the world. We perceive the world differently than a lot of people do. When we want to make music, we're actually creating patterns in our imaginations, essentially, and we're very sensitive to others' perception of us and how we think about the world. And there's a lot of intellectual and creative stuff going on in our brains. And so that can be very useful and helpful for us when we're trying to make music, but it can also create a lot of challenging debilitations in terms of getting into like a really bad funk, a bad depressive cycle where you're just stuck, not wanting to do much in life, and you really don't even get out of bed. You don't think that there's any hope for you. You don't even think there's any time when this is ever gonna like just stop. Or if you're dealing with anxiety or panic attacks, if you've never had a panic attack, essentially what it is when you feel like you're having a heart attack and the world is closing in on you and you're in danger, and it's like your fight or flight response happening to you in a very not dangerous situation. Like you might just be sitting in your car in traffic. Yeah, it might be a little bit stressful, but the feeling you get is that there's a meteor coming to you and it's going to destroy you, right? So panic attacks are basically your fight or flight response, the amygdala, the part of your brain that is responsible for getting you out of danger. It's a very helpful instinct, but it's firing at the wrong time. And it's very, very confusing for people who, and scary and very frightening for people who don't know what's going on. Personally, I've had many, many panic attacks throughout my life, including one that actually put me in the hospital. I was on my way to work one day in LA when I first moved down there, and I freaked out so bad I had to pull off the freeway. Remember, I was pacing on the side of the road and I just didn't know what was going on. I felt like I was going to faint. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like I just had a straw through my neck, and that's all I could get was just a little amount of air, and I just felt like I couldn't breathe. So I called the ambulance. I called 911. They came and grabbed me, and they did my vitals, and they're like, "What's wrong, kid? Like, you're fine. Like, you're breathing fine. Your heart rate's fine. Like, you're a little bit excited. You're jittery, but there's nothing going on." So they took me to the hospital, and when I got to the doctor's office, they basically misdiagnosed me. They thought that I was having an asthma attack and gave me an inhaler and sent me on my way. But it just scared me to my core. I didn't know what was going on. It wasn't until many months later that I started like understanding what panic was, what anxiety was, and what a panic attack really was, and how to deal with it or whatever. So I've had a couple of emails from some students actually that are dealing with this. In fact, I had one member who had to leave the syndicate because they were dealing with a lot of intense depression and panic attacks and anxiety, and they just were really closed up and just completely caged, and they didn't feel like they could go forward, even making music. And that's just really sad. I really I hate hearing those kind of stories. I hate hearing that people are completely stuck and they feel like there's no path forward, and they're giving up on things that they really want to do because they don't know how to get through their depression or their panic attacks or whatever it is. And so I feel like I have an obligation. When I got, letters like that, it's kind of been weighing on my mind. I didn't want to really say too much on this channel because I felt like, that's not really what I'm talking about with this, but I felt like, maybe there's some of you that have dealt with that. You've dealt with depression. You've dealt with these kind of issues. And I want to tell you, I have been in very, very dark modes of depression. I've been in extremely just dark places where I didn't feel like it would ever get better for me. I felt like it was just a permanent state of no hope. Nothing's going to go my way. I'm not worthy of anything better than this. And I've been in very, very dark places. Okay. Luckily and fortunately now I am not in a place like that, but many times in my life, all the way back from when I was like a teenager, I've had bouts of very serious depression. It is not fun. It's not just feeling bummed out. And if those of you have gone through it, it does not feel like you're just, I'm just a little bit sad. No, it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and there's no way out of it. So it's a very, very, just a horrible feeling. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It's a horrible, horrible situation to be a part of. So I just want to tell you, first of all, if you're in that position right now, I've been where you are, and I know it sucks. And you know what? It's okay for it to suck. Okay. I want to first of all just say, I want to give you the permission to feel like crap. You're just going to feel like crap for a while. And that's what depression is. You just feel like you're stuck in a rut. You're not going to get out of it. And I'm not going to tell you, come on, cheer up. It's all right. No. And if anybody's telling you that, they don't get it. You don't need to be cheered up. What you need to be is empathized with, that somebody can say like, you know what? I know how that feels. And that sucks. And you're totally validated to feel like it sucks. Like life just sucks right now. And I think one of the first steps to getting out of your funk and getting out of the depression state that you're in is giving yourself that permission. Or if this is the same thing with panic attacks and anxiety. In fact, anxiety, panic attacks, and depression, I think, are pretty much all on the same spectrum. They're very, very similar in terms of your brain gets stuck in these really destructive cycles. So the first step is, whether it is you're facing panic attacks, anxiety, or depression, give yourself the permission to go, I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling like a panic attack is starting. I'm feeling this. And you know what? It's okay. It's really counterintuitive, I know, because when you're feeling that, the first instinct is, I don't want to feel this. Why is it happening to me? You want to run away from it. You want to escape. You want to get out. Actually, the smarter thing to do, the more natural thing that you should do, I don't know about natural, but like the more effective thing to do is accept it, right? Don't run away from it. Don't hide from it. Accept it. Think about this. Think of a moment when you were really happy in life. You were on cloud nine. Did that feeling last forever? No, it lasted for a while, and then you went back to probably your normal mode of how you feel, and maybe now you're in a lower place, or maybe you're feeling really anxious. But think about those times when you felt like just stress-free and fearless, and you felt great. Those were temporary times too. Same thing with when you're feeling really anxious or feeling really depressed. So all feelings and all states you've ever been in your entire life are all temporary. Nothing lasts forever. Now, I know some states of depression last for many, many, many months, maybe years, maybe decades. I know that it can last for a long time. Okay, so I don't want to make light that the amount of time that you feel depressed isn't that long. I know I've had very, very long bouts of depression that lasted way too long. I really, really didn't need to feel that way for that long. But the more that I ran from it and hid from it and wanted to feel different and didn't want to accept it, the more it got worse. The more that I was sort of like still feeding the fire. I was still fueling this feeling of like, oh, it shouldn't happen to me. Why is it happening to me? And it wasn't until I just started accepting things first and just go, you know what? I'm feeling just bummed out. I'm feeling exactly this way. And also just naming exactly how you're feeling, really identifying what the fear is that you're confronting, or what the big, demotivating thing in front of you that you're like, I am feeling the sense of, I just can't make it. I'm feeling the sense of, this is just never going to happen for me, or whatever that is, whatever that big thing is in front of you that's getting in your way every single day. Confront it, admit it, just say it out loud or to yourself, however you want, but just accept that is the feeling that's in front of you. I'm telling you that the first step to getting past the funk that you're in will be admitting that the state that you're in, it's okay to feel that way, and it's temporary, and it'll go at some point, but what you're going to do today is accept it, notice it, just sit with it, just be aware of it, and really process it. A lot of times it's your body's way of saying you need to process this fear, or you need to process this feeling that's here, not run away from it. And the sooner that you can process that and just be comfortable with that, it's not going to feel great, but at least like you're not running away from it, you're not fighting it. The sooner your body can go, okay, we're processing this. We can actually move forward. We're not stuck in this kind of rut. Doesn't that kind of feel like what you're in right now? You're kind of stuck in this rut. So for whatever it's worth, this is something that has helped me at least. And there's a lot more that I want to get into as well. And so I don't know if this is helpful for those of you that have ever dealt with something like this, but I do feel like there's something that I have to give when it comes to getting through panic attacks, getting through anxiety, getting through depression. And so I'm considering actually putting out more content like this in the near future. I have to obviously put out and carve out some time for myself to help, but I've dealt with all of them, and I've figured out ways to not let them get me down. I figured out ways to completely get them out of my life and just move forward. And I think that if I don't do that, I'm really doing a disservice to a lot of people who are suffering right now. And that's actually really what's weighing on my mind, that every day that I don't do something about that and really put my at least my strategies and my techniques out there for how I was able to do it, the more people are suffering every day needlessly. Maybe they don't know that there's something out there for them. Maybe they don't even know what they're going through is something that can be confronted with themselves, like 100% naturally. You don't need pills. You don't need to go go on some massive retreat or whatever. It's a lot of stuff you can do internally right from your home, like just changing the way really you think about things and really resetting sort of your mindset on all of this stuff. So anyways, if you guys like this video, please leave me a like, comments, let me know if this was helpful for you at all. If you want to hear more about this, if you think like Jesse, it has nothing to do with music licensing, knock this stuff off, I'd like to know that too. I don't want to get too distracted. I do want to have a sort of mission statement here with my channel, but you know, anything that gets in the way of us becoming full-time music producers, I think is something that I should probably confront. And if you're dealing with these kind of issues, especially like writer's block, getting demotivated, not feeling motivated, I mean, that's a form of depression. So that's something that I can definitely help with in terms of how I changed my mindset on all that kind of stuff. So please let me know what you guys think about this moving forward. But it's definitely something that I might consider putting more content out there on this channel moving forward.